A very warm welcome, Ankita, to our Psychology Careers Unlocked series. I am really grateful today that you have joined this fourth episode of my psychology series, and I am hoping that it would really benefit the students as well as the parents who are looking forward to know more about a career in sports psychology. So, I'll just give a brief introduction about Ankita and then we can move ahead. So, Miss Ankita Jain, a senior psychologist and therapist based in Hyderabad, Telangana, she has catered to clients globally, consulting to organizations and giving lectures at various institutions and colleges in her career spanning 2 decades. Passionate about helping people bring out their best, she is here to share insights drawn from years of hands on experience in mental health and human performance. Her specialty work includes panic disorders and anxiety spectrum, borderline personality, couple or marital therapy, mental toughness and success training for elite sports athletes, high performance training for leaders. A sought after speaker and member of international professional bodies, Ms. Jain has been featured across radio, print, and international digital media for her work in promoting mental well being. So, welcome once again, Ankita, and I'm very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm so glad to have this conversation with you.
okay, so let's start. I'll just put on my first question for you, Ankita. That is, we are dealing with sports psychology today. So, what does a sports psychologist exactly do, and how is it different from a performance coach or a counselor or a regular psychologist?
A lot of us would have heard about psychology and psychologists, right? But then, like every field, like doctors have their specialty, psychology also has its specialty, like clinical rehabilitation sports. So, a regular counselor might work on general issues of adjustment or stress. A psychologist or a therapist might work on deeper issues of psychiatric issues or, couple therapy. But a sports psychologist would specifically focus for athletes. So when athletes can't perform their best or teams are not able to come together and give their best, that's when we ask a sports psychologist to help. So we may work individually with the elite athlete and in fact newcomer athletes also because they want to be mentally strong and in fact be able to show their talent on the field, or we may also work with teams and do group training.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. So, like, what is the academic path a student should pursue to enter this field?
So psychology overall in India is open to everybody. So psychology in India, sorry, I'll just start again. So
Okay.
psychology in India is open to everybody. So anybody from science, commerce, arts is allowed to take psychology in the bachelor's level and in the master's level.
Yes.
Earlier, maybe a decade ago, India didn't have this specialization of sports psychology. So
Mhm.
most of the athletes who wanted to now become a sports psychologist and because they had suffered and they wanted to help their kind would go abroad. But in the last few years, we have had so much recognition of this important field. And now there's a master's in India, which is a 2 year program for sports psychology. So anybody who's interested just needs to Google out universities which are offering masters in sports psychology that gives you a registered sports psychologist position.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So to excel, like is no to excel is knowledge about sports helpful in this particular field, and any other qualities which would be needed to pursue this career apart from sports knowledge. Yes.
So to be a psychologist, first we need to be very empathetic. We need to be understanding others' pain, others' struggle, and therefore be able to put our mind in their shoes and come from that stance where we really know what would work for the other person. Not just because I think it's a great idea, but I know what the other person's condition is and what is their struggle, right?
Mhm.
And when it comes to sports psychology specifically, if you had an experience of sports and you worked in the Indian system, you're kind of more familiar with the pain points. So an athlete who has gone through the state level, district level, would have known the kind of struggle from infrastructure to nutrition to rehab, the kind of equipment you might
Yes.
have in your academy versus the competition arena, and how that affects a competitive athlete's struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
might be brilliant in my academy, but when I
yes.
go to the arena and things are so different. But if
Mm,
I'm a psychologist who's never been on a sports ground, I may find
yes.
it difficult to project and really understand these pain points. So, yes, if you do have a sports background or you've played some sports, it definitely adds to it. And as a psychologist, being warm, being a people person always is an advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Definitely. So, can you share a real example, like without taking names, of course, where a mindset shift has completely changed an athlete's performance?
Well, I have lots and lots of examples from mine, from my colleagues, from social media. You would have heard of top athletes, right? From Virat Kohli to our Satyan in table tennis. You would have heard of every athlete saying that mental performance is so much more than just having the right talent. One of my personal favorite stories is about this athlete who had a knee surgery and
Okay.
for 2 years kept struggling and struggling to perform because
Yeah.
somewhere at the back of his mind there was this fear I might get hurt again. And
Oh.
what if I can't perform? And what if I get thrown out of the team? And so
Yes.
many other worries because if
Mm-hmm.
I do not perform well, I do not continue to stay in the team, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore I will lose my income. If all these riding factors come with you to the training field and to the competition, you're not fully present. And once we shifted that for that athlete, you wouldn't believe it. 2 years of struggle and different doctors versus 2 weeks of mental training. And
Wow.
this athlete was back on ground, full force, giving his 100% without the fear of getting injured and actually playing aggressively. And that was the marking point of transition of his career, right? And that's the difference mental performance can make.
Yes, yes, that's actually it's giving me goosebumps to hear this. That within 2 weeks, an athlete can get back on his feet, and that's so great to know. Because if we have this field of psychology named as sports psychology, so definitely it is helping sports persons, and it is actually gaining a lot of momentum also these days. So, like, coming to the next part, like, can you name a few colleges in India for this field where the courses are really good in sports psychology? Because people do not Google also many a times. They do not want to take the pains, but they can hear a video. So, and are there any internships available as well?
Yes, so both, yes, there are brilliant colleges now in India. GNDU has been an old favorite for all of us because GNDU Amritsar has been doing this for many years. They have a full-fledged lab. They have had many batches that have passed out and are doing well. Then
Hmm.
Ramachandra Institute in Chennai has started doing this. Rajasthan University has this degree, and many
Right.
other colleges are coming up. Right
Yeah. Yeah.
now, every year the list is growing. So I would request, even though if kids want to jump
Yeah.
the idea of Googling, do search for masters in sports psychology, but along with that, two important factors, like you said, internship
Hmm.
plus the lab. Because sports psychology is nothing without the sports lab. So if they
Okay.
have a performance lab where they train you on equipment, they have
Okay.
a very robust course, and also they give you placement. That means on field exposure with different teams.
Oh,
You would have a very hands on knowledge in your
yes.
kitty, which makes you more stronger as a
Oh,
practitioner.
okay, that's really actually, I
And
did not know about the lab part up to now, and that's
yeah.
really something new. Yeah. Okay.
And if people are looking for private internships after they finish their masters, there are many institutes that are now offering it. And by institutes, I mean senior sports psychologists who were ex athletes who have now opened sports psychology companies in India. So they also would be offering internships. So
Hmm.
definitely look out for those also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yes. So, like one personal question, like what are the initial struggles you went through while starting your own career?
My career has been 20 years of chaos, I would say, and a roller coaster where, it's gone to the high points, it's gone to the low points. And this is something I tell everybody, do not follow my path. मेरा
Okay.
पाथ बिल्कुल फॉलो मत करना क्योंकि my path has never been a traditional path, right? I do not come from a master's in sports psychology background because जब मैंने काम शुरू किया था तब ये नहीं था इंडिया में. So I have a master's in clinical psychology. I worked for a good 12 years in the field of clinical and hospital psychology. And then
Okay.
because I was a sports person earlier, I got into cricket association. And once I
Okay.
did that, that got on my resume. So more and more sports work started coming, and that's when I did my degree because अब मेरे को करना पड़ा. So mine
Okay.
has been a ulta chakkar,
Ah.
and that's been the journey also because when you're doing it not by the normative but in a different way, people question your ethics, people question your caliber, people question aap kyun ho yahan pe and can you actually do good work,
Yeah.
and having to prove yourself at every point was the challenge that I went through.
Yeah, yeah. With the degree also people challenge. So without matlab when they know that from a different field and then you have pursued it, definitely that is very possible. Okay. Yeah. So do you think that India is slowly recognizing the importance of mental health in sports, or like do we still have a long way to go here?
It's a bittersweet situation right now,
Mm-hmm.
coming from the time when athletes did not get any support at all.
Yeah.
We had talent which was going to Olympics or international arenas, but losing out because they felt the pressure that time to perform, but didn't have anybody to fall upon, and came back without the medals. To now, when there's a psychologist this past Olympics traveling with the Indian team. So we have come a long way. We are recognizing the importance of sports psychology. The
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate part is it is only with the elite athletes that they're getting this access. If we can increase the scope of work to
Mm-hmm.
lower level, younger athletes, probables who are still in
Yeah.
the state level, district level. And if we
Yes.
can, really safeguard this talent by giving them the right support at the right time, by the
Yeah.
time they grow up, we are not wasting talent. We're not getting
Mm-hmm.
people who are dropping out because they felt like a failure, because not getting the medals at a young age can be really, really heavy on our brains. So, if we have the right support at the right time, it can
Yes.
really boost morale and it can really help us, grow as a sports psychology, sports country, in fact.
Yes. Bilkul, bilkul. Okay, okay. And one last question. So, Ankita, that what is that one lesson you have learned that you want to share with the students or parents, all those who are looking forward to a career in sports psychology from all your experiences?
My one lesson would be don't give up. Psychology is not like your engineering or medicine where the career path is very straightforward. It has its own challenges. There will be days you will question कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, and there will be days you will not make enough money compared to your friends.
Yes,
Don't compare, don't backstep because time is tough. Continue, and continue only because you're passionate about psychology and making a difference. Once you don't give up, it's a great profession to be in.
yes. Okay. Beautiful. I just loved this inspiration because students do need it the most these days. The first thing which they do is giving up as soon as they face one failure. So, definitely not giving up is a beautiful message, Ankita. And I guess with this, I have completed all my questions, and I am sure that students will definitely benefit from this interview, and they would also know that the career path is not straight and you can actually go through other things as well before coming to sports psychology. And a little bit of athletics or any kind of other sports knowledge would definitely prove beneficial in this, right? So thank you so much for joining in and for enlightening us with the sports psychology part. And I'm sure that viewers are going to love this. So I'll just